Stop right there, security guard barked, stepping squarely into her path. His broad frame seemed to block the entire marble lobby of Zenith Corporation. Where do you think you're going? The woman paused. Every eye in the lobby flicked toward her. Tall, black, mid-40s, sharp cheekbones, hair pulled into a sleek bun, wearing a charcoal gray tailored pantsuit that radiated authority. She locked her piercing brown eyes on the guard. Hands rested on her hips. Calm, poised, electric with command. "I'm going where I need to be," she said, voice low, steady, unyielding. The guard sneered, disbelief twisting his features. "This is executive access only. You don't belong here." I said, "Stop." The lobby fell silent. Coffee cups paused midair. Employees froze mid-step. Some whispered, "Who is she?" Others turned, curiosity and unease in their eyes. She leaned forward slightly. Then the quiet power of her presence filled the room. "You don't belong in the way of the CEO. Step aside, or explain to the board why you prevented me from entering my own office." He swallowed hard, hesitation flickering. I need to check." "No," she cut him off, voice crisp as glass. "You don't check. You clear the way. Now." Some employees shifted nervously. Others secretly admired her courage. Her posture radiated authority, dignity, and refusal to be dismissed. For the first time, the guard certainly wavered. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Every whispered movement in the lobby felt amplified. And in that instant, everyone watching knew this was a woman who would not be ignored, underestimated, or delayed. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's video, we want to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's get back to the story. Even after the guard stepped aside, whispers rippled through the lobby. Employees exchanged glances, some stifling smirks, others barely disguising judgment. "Who does she think she is?" muttered one young man in a designer blazer, leaning against a marble railing. "Yeah, some random woman walking in like she owns the place." Another snorted. Her heels clicked confidently on the polished floors as she walked toward the elevators. Every step was deliberate, measured, carrying a weight that belied the murmurs around her. She carried a leather briefcase in one hand and a small stack of documents in the other. Her expression calm, dignified, yet a storm brewed behind her eyes. From the corner of the lobby, she could see the subtle body language of mockery. Heads tilted, eyebrows raised, some even holding back laughs. She didn't flinch. She had endured this before, underestimation, disbelief, and outright dismissal. But she had learned to carry herself above it. Her office floor, though, held a different challenge. The elevator opened, and she encountered the middle management team, staring, mouths slightly open. Good morning. We weren't expecting you," one manager mumbled, voice shaky. "I see," she said, voice soft but firm, carrying the weight of authority. "Well, I'm here now." The subtle smirks and sideways glances of some colleagues weren't lost on her. They assumed she was a visitor, or worse, that she had no real claim to authority here. Every inch of the polished lobby seemed to conspire against her dignity. She paused just long enough for them to feel the full force of her presence. Her eyes scanned the room deliberately, calm, unwavering, and precise. Every whisper of disbelief, every judging glance, was absorbed and reflected back with quiet power. No one spoke. They didn't dare. Minutes later, she entered the boardroom. The conference table gleamed under the soft overhead lighting, and the room was filled with the senior leadership team. "Good morning," she said, voice carrying across the room with authority. Every head turned. Some stiffened, some shifted nervously. "You're late," one executive muttered, almost under his breath. "Shouldn't someone have—" She didn't interrupt, didn't react with anger. Instead, she opened her briefcase, setting the documents down in front of her. Each movement was precise, deliberate, commanding respect without a word. "You may have doubted me," she said, finally meeting their eyes. "You may have assumed I wouldn't be here, or that I didn't belong. But I am here, and I am accountable for this company's next quarter. Every decision, every outcome starts with me." Whispers rippled across the table. Some executives shuffled papers nervously. Others avoided eye contact entirely. The arrogance that filled the room earlier was replaced by quiet tension, uncertainty, and realization. One manager, emboldened, finally spoke. We didn't know. I expected that, she replied, her tone calm but lethal. Assumptions are costly. Underestimating leadership, even costlier. Let this be the first lesson of the day. Her assistant quietly entered, placing a tablet in front of her. She tapped a few commands, and the screen lit up with live metrics of the company's performance. Profits, losses, underperforming departments, and neglected projects. Some of you believe the numbers didn't matter, she said, scanning the room. Some of you assumed leadership was about presence, not performance. But I am here to correct every misjudgment. The room fell silent. The staff who had mocked her entrance earlier realized, subtle smirks fading, that the underestimated Sud already seized control of the narrative. Every whisper of doubt, every sneer, had been replaced by quiet, cautious attention. Even the security guard who had blocked her at the lobby entrance was visible through the glass wall, watching nervously from afar. The man who had doubted her authority had just witnessed the full, calm, unshakable power of a leader who refused to be sidelined. She moved among the metrics with ease, highlighting inefficiencies, calling out mistakes, praising overlooked talent. Every action reinforced one message. She belonged here, and she would not be underestimated again. By the end of the morning, whispers had changed. They no longer doubted her presence. Some were fearful, some respectful, and some inspired. But all understood that this black woman Sil had transformed the mood, the power dynamics, and the future of the company in mere hours. By noon, the tension in Zenith Corp's headquarters was palpable. Employees who had mocked her arrival now lingered in anxious silence, watching the black woman Sil move through the building with calm precision. Tall, poised, mid-40s, sleek bun, charcoal gray tailored pantsuit immaculate, her brown eyes sharp. She carried the air of someone who had never been underestimated lightly, and never allowed it again. She entered the executive conference hall, where senior leadership had gathered for quarterly review. The room buzzed with low murmurs. She's going to speak. What is she planning? She didn't begin with a speech. Instead, she projected the company's live financial dashboard onto the giant screen behind the podium. Profits, losses, department efficiency metrics, and detailed employee performance scores. Every number, every chart, every note meticulously tracked. The executives stiffened. These were people who had assumed her presence was ceremonial. They hadn't realized she had complete mastery of every aspect of the company's operations, down to the last spreadsheet, last client contract, last margin percentage. I understand some of you doubted me this morning, she began, voice calm, commanding yet icy. You assumed that because I was delayed, or because I had to assert my authority at the lobby entrance, that I didn't belong here. Murmurs ran through the room. Some employees shifted uncomfortably. Others avoided her gaze entirely. Assumptions are dangerous, she continued, clicking to a new slide showing an internal audit of mismanaged budgets, overlooked projects, and inflated expenses. Names appeared discreetly alongside each entry, marking accountability. Those who thought they could undermine the company while ignoring their duties are about to see the consequences of their complacency. Whispers grew louder, tension now rising into fear. Faces drained of color. Executives who had earlier smirked at her entrance now glanced nervously at one another, realizing the full weight of her authority. The CEO tapped the tablet on the podium, and a secure live video feed displayed internal emails, approvals, and notes that exposed repeated negligence by certain managers. The room went silent. Every whispered excuse, every hidden error, every arrogant assumption that she didn't belong was now public. She stepped down from the podium, walking confidently toward the employees whose actions were under scrutiny. Physical presence commanding, yet no aggression. She reached a manager who had been particularly dismissive that morning, the one who muttered under his breath about her being some random woman. This, she said, gesturing to the dashboard, is what happens when you assume leadership is about presence, not performance. You ignored responsibilities. You mocked authority. You underestimated someone simply because you assumed she wasn't supposed to be here. The manager stammered. I didn't... You did, she interrupted, voice sharp but not unkind, eyes blazing. And now everyone knows. The CEO didn't shout. She didn't humiliate for personal pleasure. The humiliation came from the undeniable truth revealed to everyone. Sloppy work, arrogance, dismissive attitudes, and underestimation exposed in real time. Employees who whispered, "Who does she think she is?" now realized she'd been observing, calculating, and documenting everything from the moment she walked in. The lobby security guard, who had blocked her entrance hours earlier, was summoned. Tall, broad-shouldered, nervous. She didn't raise her voice. She simply said, "You will reevaluate your understanding of authority and protocol. You will respect those whose position you might misunderstand. Starting today." The guard's jaw tightened, nodding sheepishly. The humiliation wasn't cruel. It was precise, corrective, and fully public. Managers who had doubted her were forced to answer pointed questions about incomplete reports, missed deadlines, and lapses in communication. Each answer revealed their negligence. The room felt electric. Fear, respect, and astonishment intermingled. Every employee present understood one truth. The woman they had mocked, underestimated, or dismissed was in full control, and she had the evidence to prove it. Once accountability had been established, the CEO shifted her focus. She praised employees who had quietly done their jobs correctly, spotlighting them in front of the room. "Your diligence and integrity are what sustain this company," she said, smiling at them. "Keep leading by example. Never underestimate your impact." She then outlined a new operational plan, introducing mentorship programs for neglected departments, accountability protocols, and leadership training. Every executive, manager, and staff member witnessed firsthand how competence, diligence, and courage shaped leadership, not arrogance or entitlement. The CEO's calculated, composed, and public handling of the situation shocked the company. What started as tension, mockery, and disbelief ended in respect, inspiration, and a recalibration of power. By the end of the week, Zenith Corp had transformed. Employees who had laughed or doubted her now sought guidance, mentorship, and approval. The security team learned to respect authority without assumptions, ensuring smooth entry for leadership regardless of appearances. The CEO returned to her office, briefcase in hand, breathing deeply. She had asserted her authority, corrected wrongdoing, and transformed not only the company's operations but the culture of respect and accountability. From her window, she watched the city below, reflecting on a morning confrontation. The smallest acts of doubt can spark the most significant displays of leadership when challenged correctly. The employees who had mocked her, some quietly apologized. Others worked tirelessly to regain credibility. Her dignity remained intact, her authority undisputed, and her influence far-reaching. She had not needed to yell, intimidate, or humiliate cruelly. She had simply executed truth, accountability, and calm power. That was enough. Months later, the story of the black woman CEO who had been kept waiting became legendary at Zenith Corporation. New employees heard it on their first day. Executives recalled it in meetings as a lesson in humility and respect. Security staff remembered it as a turning point in how authority and assumptions intersected. And quietly outside the office walls, the world learned the same truth. Underestimating someone based on appearances or assumptions can lead to consequences you never expected. Courage, preparation, and dignity always command recognition, even in the face of doubt.